Okay, gang, let's go over these. Now, it's really important before you do these that you know whether they're one-sided or two-sided limits hitting a vertical asymptote. So first of all, you have to recognize when you do these whether you're hitting a vertical asymptote or not. And how you recognize that is when you plug in a number. So when I plug in the 1, I'm going to get 3 over 0. And that means I'm hitting a VA. Now, the answers, if it's two-sided, coming in from both sides, you don't want to write, you have 3 options. You have positive infinity, you have negative infinity, or DNE. It's positive infinity if they're both going up on both sides. It's negative infinity if they're both going down around the VA. And it's DNE if they're going some sort of opposite combination. But you want to specify if they're both going up around the VA, you want to say positive infinity. If they're both going down, you want to say negative infinity. And if they're going in opposite directions, the best you can say is DNE. If it's one-sided approaching a VA, then all you can say is positive infinity or negative infinity. You'd never write DNE, okay? Well, we don't write it anymore because these are better answers than DNE. All right, the first type of question is the most important. I've already showed you that we're at a VA because it's 3 over 0. Now, this is how you figure out, because right now your brain is like, okay, well, this has to be positive or negative infinity. You have to figure out which one. So how you figure it out is you pick something. This is coming in from the right. So that means it's something a little bigger than 1. So something like 1.1. If you put 1.1 in here, it's negative, because 1 minus 1.1 is negative. 2 plus 1.1 is positive. So positive over negative is negative. So this will end up being negative infinity. It's really important that you stay very close to the 1. All right, so don't pick like a 2. Don't pick like a 3. I mean like really close, okay? Let me just make another one like that because that is the most important kind. Let's go as x goes to 2 from the left of x plus 5 over 7 x minus 2. All right, so as I put this in, I'm going to get 7 over 0. Now I have to go a little to the left, so that's 1.9. So 1.9, so since it's one-sided, I know that it has to be positive or negative infinity because it's 7 over 0, which means I'm hitting a VA. If it's one-sided on a VA, you're either going up when you hit the VA or you're going down. So I now have to just figure out, am I going up when I hit it or am I going down when I hit it? I'm coming in from the left, so I'm technically coming in this way at it. Alright, if I plug 1.9 in there, that's positive. If I plug 1.9 in here, this is negative. So this is another case of negative infinity. Okay? So once you know you're at a VA, it's one of these scenarios, and if it's an infinity case, you just have to plug in something close to the VA to figure out whether it's up or down. Alright, we don't really need to do this one. This isn't the same. This isn't the case we're doing. If you notice, if you plug in 4, it doesn't do anything. You get 16 over 32. You get 1/2. It's not a VA. It's not going to 0 on the bottom. So that's not the case we're doing. Fractions, you guys can fiddle with that one at home if you want. Let me hit down to this one, just because that's going to take me a long time to crunch all that out. Okay, this one, you're going to plug in pi over 2. Now, when you plug pi over 2 in a cosine, that's a number over 0. So we're hitting a VA. This is one-sided, so the answer is positive or negative infinity. All right, so now it just depends how your brain works. So for starters, you have to note that the numerator is going to be negative because of this negative 2. So I really just have to figure out what the sign of this is. So it just depends how your brain works. If your brain likes a rotational axis, if you're a little bigger than pi over 2, you're in quadrant 2 because you're heading towards pi. If you're on a linear axis, if your brain's on a linear axis, pi over 2 would be here. You're a little bigger, you're here. All right, so just sort of figure out which way your brain is figuring out the sign. If you're on a rotational axis, you're to the right of pi over 2 is quadrant 2, and quadrant 2, the cosine is negative. If you're on a linear axis, you've passed pi over 2, so you've now come you've now come below the x-axis, so you're negative. So you're going to get the right answer whichever way you do it. Just figure out how your brain works. So you have a negative over negative, so that's positive infinity. All right, this one, when you plug in, you get 0 squared minus 1 over 0. So once part of it fails, it all fails. Okay, we have a VA situation because of this guy. Now this is two-sided. So this could be any of 3 answers. I'm going to break this down a little bit just so you can see it. I know there's a negative in front, but I'm not going to, when I break this down, let me start without the negative. All right, so this is 1 over 0, so it's a VA. Coming in from the left, now pick something a little smaller than 0. So something a little smaller than 0 would be like negative 0.1. This is positive, this is negative. So overall, this is negative infinity, right? One side, it has to be positive or negative infinity. This first case is negative infinity. All right, let's try another one. Now coming in from the right on the same equation, again, it's 1 over 0. So it's positive or negative infinity because it's one-sided. I'm going to pick something a little bit bigger than 0. It's going to be that. So this is a positive over a positive because 0.1 is positive down here. So this is positive infinity. Now, since coming in from the left is negative infinity and coming in from the right is positive infinity, that means the two-sided limit is dne because they're going in opposite directions around this. Okay? So the best you can write for this is dne. You can't specify an infinity here. All right, this last one, it may be easier for you guys if you convert this to a tangent. You're going to get the same answer either way, but if you reciprocate this up, it's a tangent. So I think that's just a little easier. This is going to be 2 times tangent of 0 is 0, so this is 0. This one's going to end up being 0. If you keep it with a cotangent, you're going to be right on the asymptote. So you're going to notice as you go to 0, one side goes to positive infinity, the other side goes to negative infinity. So you're basically dividing by infinity as you plug it. You're basically got 2 over positive or negative infinity. Which is going to collapse it to 0, right? Anything divided by infinity collapses it to 0. All right, gang. So try the examples in the book. If you get stuck on something, give me a holler, okay? But really, this one at the beginning is I'm stressing that's the most important. But certainly these other ones towards the bottom are also important. Okay, I'll catch you, gang. Bye-bye.